Good evening, everyone. If I can call this meeting to order. This evening, we're going to be following two agendas. We have the first agenda, which is going to be our Committee of the Whole, and that will be followed by our regular meeting of Council. We're going to start off with a prayer from Councillor Bill Steele, and that will be followed by the National Anthem by Mr. Joe Longfellow. Councillor Steele.
Thank you, Worship. Dear Lord, we ask that you keep our children safe as the school vacation is about to begin. May you bless Port Colborne with fine weather for our many guests that will be attending our festivals, beaches, marina, and businesses during the summer. We ask that you protect us, and may we always be mindful of the needs of others. We ask these in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north, strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you, Joel. Well done as always.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My pleasure as always.
Thanks, Joel. We're going to start off with the introduction of addendum items this evening. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. None this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Members of Council, if I can have a motion to confirm the agenda, please. Councillor Bodner, Councillor Steele, are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Thank you, members. Are there any disclosures this evening? Councillor Elliott? Disclosures of interest? Do you want to do it in council? Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Any disclosures, members? With none? Items requiring a separate discussion. Members of council? Councillor Elliott. Item 3? Yeah.
Item 3.
Thank you, Councillor. Further items, members? Councillor Kenny.
Thank you, Your Worship. Number 13.
Thank you, Councillor. Further items, members? With none, I'll look for a motion to approve the remainder of the items, please. Councillor Butters. Seconder, please. Councillor Doucette. Are there any questions or comments to that? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Thank you, members. We do have a few presentations this evening, and I'll go to the podium to make those presentations. Members of Council, and members of the public, the gallery, as well as those watching on COGECO, it's once again my privilege on your behalf to welcome a lot of our youth who have once again made us here in the city of Port Colborne extremely proud. This evening we're going to be making presentations to 3 groups of individuals who have in fact brought their talents province-wide and beyond to show Port Colborne proud in terms of some of the talents that they've brought from their community onto others. First off, members of the gallery, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the Port Colborne Hornets under 16 Major Midget Girls basketball team, those girls being here in our chamber this evening. And it's going to be my pleasure to bring every one of you guys up right now. So all you guys, I want you guys to come on up. We're going to leave the coach to the last, our fearless leader, coaches. And if you guys just want to stand over here, up front here. It's my pleasure to welcome these girls to our chamber this evening to recognize an accomplishment that I think it took a good 8 or 9 years to bring to the city of Port Colborne. A lot of these girls have been playing together for the better part of the last 8 or 9 years, and representing the city of Port Colborne and going to numerous tournaments, coming home with numerous medals, golds, silvers, and bronzes. And this year we're fortunate to bring home the big one. And I have to say, on behalf of all members of City Council, girls, and all the residents of your community here in the city of Port Colborne, it's my pleasure, it's my privilege actually, to congratulate you for your Ontario Basketball Association Championship, the win in the under-16 Major Midget Division 8 category this past spring in Kitchener. As a parent of 2 members of the team, I know firsthand the amount of work that you girls put into this win, into all these wins. The time that you took to practice, the nights that you took away from other activities that you're all involved in, and as well trying to balance both your life at home, at school, and of course on the court. And with that, I have to say that, and watched you all work extremely hard and played hard, and in turn made us all proud here in the city of Port Colborne with what you brought back home. The determination that stayed with you throughout the OBAs, and again I can say this firsthand, having experienced each and every game, with my friend Mike back there. Mike would be the biggest fan of the team. But with true determination, and girls, you know this, and I'm sure Les has told you this on many occasions, not only does that determination carry you with wins on the court, but also off the court, whether it be in school or everything that you do, that determination will no question follow you in life, and therefore enable you to succeed in everything that you do well into the future. So it's my pleasure on behalf of members of council, as well as those in the public, to present each and every one of you with a certificate of congratulations, and I'll be calling your name and you can come on up and get your certificate. As well, I do want to take this opportunity to call the 2 coaches up here. If you guys want to come on up, and I'll give you an opportunity to speak as well once I present the certificates. So with that, girls, and I'll read the first certificate out to the first individual. And this is presented to Billy Vidicek. Billy, if you want to come on up. In recognition of your outstanding contribution to the Port Colborne Hornets under-16 Major Midget Girls Basketball Team and your achievement as the Ontario Basketball Association Division 8 champions, may I extend congratulations on behalf of members of City Council and, more importantly, all the citizens of the City of Port Colborne. Your dedication and commitment to your team reinforces the value of teamwork evident throughout our community. And this last part of the certificate I put on all certificates, and I want you guys to listen to this very carefully. Win today, walk together forever. And that means a lot, because what you've won today is something that you're going to carry with, that's going to be carried with you for the rest of your lives. You're going to be, when you're our age, or maybe Barb's age. Okay, right there. When you guys get older, there's no question, you guys are going to remember this. This is something, and as a former athlete myself, you know, going back many, many years, hockey, baseball, football, the sports that I played, you know, there's nothing more, it's a happy time when you're able to take some time out when you get older and really reminisce about the times that you had as an athlete when you were younger, and those wins that you had as a younger athlete. And you're going to talk about this, and you're going to have reunions, and you're going to, of that Ontario Basketball Championship. So once again, girls, win today, walk together forever. It's so important to remember that, because this is something that you're going to carry on for the rest of your life. Billy, great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great work. Chelsea Kovacs? Chelsea's not here? Okay. So Evangelina, I always know you as Evie, or Evie. Evangelina Roy. Come on up, Evangelina. Congratulations. Great job. Well done. Well done. I asked these girls if they were going to have 5-minute speeches, and they said no. Haley Tippett. Haley, great job. Congratulations. Well done. Jessica Okay, you got to help me out here, Jessica. Gajmarak. Jessica Gajmarak. Great job, Jessica. Congratulations. How's the knee feeling?
It's good.
Good stuff. Christina Lascava? Christina's not here. Kara Dyko? There she is. Kara, congratulations. Well done. Great job.
Thank you.
Mackenzie Cece? Not here. Megan Milinkovich. Congratulations, Megan. Great work. Great work. Michaela Pridote? Is that right? Hey, got it. Good job.
Thank you.
Wonderful job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Sarah Nelson. Sarah's not here. Logan Badaway. Great job. Jordan Badaway. Jordan, congratulations. And the two coaches, head coach Les Tippett. Les, come on up. Watch your head. Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
I'm gonna call him up and, and Ivan Gojmarak. Ivan, come on up.
I have no problem.
Yeah, you have no problem. Congratulations, well done. Now, before I ask Les to say a few words, I do have a plaque here that I want to present to you, Les. Presented to the Port Colborne Hornets, under 16 Major Midget Girls Basketball Team, the Ontario Basketball Association Division 8 champions. Congratulations on behalf of members of City Council and all the residents of the City of Port Colborne. Your dedication and commitment to your team has inspired your community. Win today, walk together forever. Thanks, man. Les?
Yes, it has taken a long time, and here we are. Basically, in a nutshell, these were my bad news bears. We took 13 players from 4 different high schools, different age levels. We put them all together, and the year didn't start off very well, right, girls? And but it ended great, and this is what we, as coaches, strive for in our many years of futility, and hopefully we come home with one of these eventually, and we did. So I'm very proud of all the girls. I'm especially proud of Haley because I asked her to do a little more than the rest, and she stood up and did more than what I asked her to do. So for that, thank you, Hale. That's it.
Happy birthday. You good? Okay, girls, before we get a picture of you guys, we're going to get you all up there, and Les and Ivan, if you want to get up there. But I do want to say, as Les had stated, these girls really did overachieve this year. 4 different schools, a few girls first time on the court, and I tell you, every single one of you contributed to that win. Very exciting. I know as a parent, never mind as a mayor of the community, but as a parent, we're all the parents, we're very proud of you. And as well, I have to give appreciation to the parents, because it is the parents that do take you guys out to the practices, to the games. And so the last thing I want to ask you to do is look out there to moms and dads, and of course to Les, your coach, and to your assistant coach Ivan, and give them a thank you, because they spent a lot of time out there. So how about a thank you, guys? Hey, come on, let me hear it. Yeah. George, Logan, this one here. Good, good. Okay, guys, play number two. Play number two. Okay, guys. Okay. So why don't you guys, call us at the back? Yeah, why don't you guys kneel down here? There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure now to continue with some students that we want to recognize this evening, some of our top students here in the city of Port Colborne. Tonight we have students from the District School Board of Niagara and the Niagara Catholic District School Board of Niagara. We will be recognizing students' achievements in the skills competitions, athletics, and languages. I will start with a skills competition. Our community schools are training our students in trades that will help keep them in our city as well as here in the region of Niagara, with viable employment opportunities within our local businesses here throughout the city as well as the region. Each of you are an inspiration. There's no question the students, as we see every year, they're an inspiration to all of us, as well as your fellow students, to work hard to achieve similar accomplishments throughout the school year. First, we will recognize our students from Lakeshore Catholic High School. I'd like to call up Mr. Tino Nuccitelli from Lakeshore Catholic, first of all, to say a few words on behalf of Lakeshore Catholic High School. Tino, welcome. It's great to have you out. How you doing? Good.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, my fellow friends, the City of Port Colborne, students and parents. My name is Tino Nuccitelli. I'm a teacher at Lakeshore Catholic High School. I teach electrical construction technology. I'm here tonight to recognize the accomplishments of several students that participated in the Provincial Technological Skills Competition in Waterloo, Ontario in early May, all which worked and participated hard to showcase their skills, talents to represent Lakeshore Catholic High School. Tonight, we are here to recognize 4 of these students for placing 3rd in the province of Ontario in home building, which had them build an 8x8 shed in 2 days against 31 other teams from across the province. These students' dedication, determination is being recognized in a wonderful way by the school community to celebrate the choices and sacrifices these individuals made. But I believe that what should make you and your parents most proud is not the actual award itself, but what you had to do to get it. The reward of anything well done is to have done it well, and to do it to the best of your ability. Recognition is just the icing on the cake, not to be expected, but definitely to be enjoyed. So on that note, I congratulate Andrew Susan, Hayden Langrap, Lucas Schultz, Justin Tapp. I'm sure we'll be seeing these students post-secondary working on our homes, wiring our basements. Congratulations to your endeavors in the future.
Great job. Thanks, Tino. The following students won medals in the Niagara Catholic District School Board Skills Competition. I would like to call upon Brendan Captain and Ryan Lecomte, who won gold medals in the team carpentry division. They're not here? Okay. I would like to call up Andrew Susan, Hayden Langerap, Lucas Schultz, and Justin Tapp, who together won a gold medal in the home building division. These young gentlemen went on to the Ontario Technological Skills Competition and won a bronze medal. Andrew, congratulations. Well done, great job. Hayden, great job, congratulations. Thank you. Well done. Lucas? Great job, congratulations. And Justin? Congratulations. Points right there. Well done. Thanks, guys. Good job. I would now like to call upon Kevin Susan, who won a gold medal in the electrical division, and I guess he's not here. I would like to call upon Trevor Gorlars, who won a silver medal in the individual carpentry division. Is he here? No? Tino? I guess these guys are busy building things, eh? And next we have Jeff Tapp, who won a gold medal in the plumbing division. Jeff's not, yeah, Jeff's here. Tino, if you want to take these. We would now like to take this opportunity, members of the gallery and public and council, to recognize the accomplishments of the students from Port Colborne High School. I would now like to call upon the principal of Port Colborne High School, Mr. Nigel Evans, to say a few words. Nigel? Good to see you, Nigel.
Nice to see you. Thank you for the invitation. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Mayor, Council. Thank you very much once again for recognising our students here tonight, and thank you very much indeed for your continued support as a council. The students that are here represent not just our school, but also the citizens of Port Colborne and Wainfleet. They are evidence of a tradition of excellence in terms of academics, technology and athletics, and they are part of the reason why our grade 9 enrolment next year at Port Colborne High School is up by a solid 15%. The total number of students attending the school is also up, and at a time when regional schools are in decline, that indeed is good news. Academically, Port Colborne High School students have scored higher than the board and the provincial average on the Ontario Secondary School Literacy Test, and that translates into other academic successes. Like Alicia McIntyre, who's here this evening with us to be recognised. She is a 4 times region French-speaking competition winner, once at her elementary school, Mackay, and 3 times at Port Colborne. And I'm sure, knowing this young lady, that she's already working on next year's speech. In terms of technology, tonight you will recognise Small Engines genius Rob Augustine, the brothers Grist for their construction efforts, and 2-time provincial welding champion Daniel Dressel. The word is obviously out about Port Colborne High School. It was only 2 weeks ago that we entertained the Hebler Corporation, Oneida Steel, and a charter school from Buffalo who came to look at the program that's offered at Port Colborne High School because they'd heard about it and they were looking to replicate it in New York State. I think that's a fine comment indeed. And our thanks to Oscom Steel for making that happen for us. In terms of athletics, tonight we're going to recognise 3 officer finalists, Lucas, Alyssa and Jasmine. Mr. Mayor, I told you, I believe, in a recent conversation at the Hub, that we were confident this year that we would bring back a medal from the provincial games, and Jasmine did just that when she brought home the provincial silver in the javelin. I'd like to offer a footnote about that javelin competition because I believe it speaks to the character of the students not only of Port Colborne High School, but also the character of the community of Port Colborne and Wainfleet. And the story is something like this. Jazz entered the competition ranked number 1 in all of Ontario. Her personal best was 34 metres in the javelin, and we assumed that because in past years, if she could throw 34 metres again, Jazz would win the gold. In her first round, she threw 34 metres. Awesome. A young lady from Toronto went above and beyond, and in fairness to her, threw 39 metres. Now you can, at 34 metres, comfortably expect to win the silver. But I got to give credit where credit's due here. And Jasmine did not sit back and think, that's okay, I got the silver. In her next throw, she threw a personal best of 37 metres, 3 metres more than she'd ever thrown before in her life. In her next throw, she threw 37.85 metres, nearly 4 metres further than she'd ever thrown in her life. Now, ultimately, the young lady, to be congratulated, from Toronto, was victorious. But you know what? That speaks of character. That speaks of determination. It speaks of resolve. It speaks of confidence. It speaks of belief. And I am not just proud of Jazz for bringing home the silver. I am proud of Jazz for the way she went after the gold and wasn't just satisfied with sitting there and taking what she knew was going to come her way if she hadn't have bothered. I think it's a fine reflection upon the character of the school, and it's a fine reflection upon the character of this community. Council, I would like to thank you once again for all you do to support the school. Ladies and gentlemen, all the contestant winners here tonight, the students that have won from whatever school they come from, congratulations to you all. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
So think that guy should be the mayor. It's my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, to first call up Mr. Shane Rapley, who received the bronze medal in the Auto Service Technology Division. Not here? Okay. Next, we have Matt Pearson, who received the silver medal in the Auto Service Technology Division. They're in the garage working on the same car, that's right. I would now like to call up Sarah Diltz, who received a silver medal in the Small Powered Engines Division. If I can call up Isaac Grist, who won a bronze medal in the Welding Division and a silver medal in the Carpentry Division. Isaac, great work. Congratulations. Well done. Now we'll call upon Ryan Grist, who won a silver medal in the Carpentry Team 2 Division. Great work. Congratulations. Well done. Next, I'd like to call upon Robert Augustine, who won a silver medal in the Small Powered Equipment Division. He went on to the Ontario Skills Competition and faced some tough competition, I hear. But great work, and congratulations to Robert for bringing this medal home to Port Colborne. Congratulations. And finally, I'd like to call upon, for his final time, Daniel Dressel. As many of you remember, Daniel was honored last year for his great success in the welding division. And again, this year, Daniel won a gold medal in the District School Board of Niagara Skills Competition. He then went on to the Ontario Technological Skills Competition and earned another gold medal there. It was Daniel's second provincial gold medal and the second ever for a student from the city of Port Colborne. He carried on to the national competition to defend his title, but came up against some tough competition this year. But nevertheless, Daniel, again, made us proud. Great job. Congratulations. Now we're going to move on to the athletes. Port Colborne High School students placed very well in SASA, and some went on to OFSA this past season. And first off, I'd like to call upon Erin Reed, who finished in first place at SASA in the Midget Girls Discus. Erin's not with us? She's chasing that discus. Okay. I would now like to call upon Lucas Mann Clattenburg, who finished second at SASA in the Midget Boys Discus and went on to OFSA and finished fifth. Now, this is no stranger to the chamber. She's been here a few times. I'd now call upon Jasmine Kickert-Lebeau. Jasmine won first place in the girls' discus and second place in the girls' javelin at SASA, and went on to OFSA and won a silver medal in the girls' discus or javelin? Javelin, right? Or discus? I got discus, javelin here. Discus, great. Quite an experience, eh?
Yeah.
You have a speech for us?
No. Thank you.
Jazz, great job.
Thank you.
Congratulations to you. Keep it going, man. Good job. I tell you, her and the girls played basketball together. You put her under the net, she don't miss. She was that tall when she was like 8. I would now like to call upon Alicia McIntyre, who won the Senior Regional French-Speaking Competition. Of course, once again, making the city of Port Colborne extremely proud, and as your principal said, we expect bigger and better things well into the future. So congratulations to you. Alicia, great job. Wonderful job. Now we do have one French-speaking counselor over there. Did you want to? Good job, Alicia. It's my pleasure to, and I do want to make a few comments because it's so important that we do recognize the work that a lot of our, from both high schools, the faculty members are doing with respect to a lot of the awards that we gave out today, this evening. Right from the principal's office over to the vice principal's office, over to the faculty, there's no question that they take very seriously on the development of our children, not only in the classroom, but also in the labs and, of course, on the sporting courts, fields, and on the ice, etc. And how important that is because, as Nigel had said earlier, or Principal Evans had said earlier, it builds character. It builds a lot of what, as adults, we become. And of course, as the youngsters, our next leaders, we expect that character to really take the next generations forward here in the city of Port Colborne. And of course, the character that you as parents, grandparents, uncles and aunts, and neighbors and friends have given to these individuals go a lot farther than the medals or certificates that they wear around their necks or they put on their walls. It in fact, as Nigel said, it in fact does build community. And the character behind that is no question the biggest win, the biggest success that we as a community can have, and that's why we're very proud of you guys, and the reason why we recognize you here in the chamber. The second thing I wanted to mention too is how important the high schools majors programs are in both high schools. A lot of people don't recognize the contributions that both high schools make to the overall economy of both the city of Port Colborne as well as the region of Niagara. One of the assets that we do have here in Niagara is we have great high schools as well as post-secondary, both at Niagara College and Brock University. And how important it is that our industries that do business here in Niagara have the confidence to recognize that when our youngsters are coming out of high school, that they're going to be able to replenish their human resources. And so important today, so important because that crisis is just around the corner, whereby we're going to have a lot of retirements because the boomers are going to be getting on to enjoying life and passing the baton on to the next generation, and how important it is that that next generation is well skilled and very much trained to seamlessly step into the workforce through both high school and then the apprenticeship programs, and of course through the colleges of applied arts and technology, or as well university. So how important that is, and I know in talking to industry that does talk to Port Colborne on a regular basis, as Nigel said earlier, one of the things that they do recognize and appreciate is that we're doing just that. So for you guys that are out there winning these awards, I'll tell you, you're not only doing it for yourself, which is extremely important, you're also doing it for the economy of both the city of Port Colborne and the region of Niagara. And for that, as your mayor, I say to you guys, not only congratulations, but thank you. Job well done. I didn't think she was here. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. We do have one more certificate here. And this certificate is presented to Alicia Boisvenu. And Alicia's here, and we're going to recognize Alicia this evening. She is a salsa competition, receiving a second place in senior girls discus. Now you got to give us the distance. The discus, second place discus. 34 meters? Great job. Second place, and once again, representing the city of Port Colborne very proudly. Alicia, congratulations. So once again, Nigel, thank you, and Tino, thank you for bringing the students out today. All you folks, again, make us extremely proud in your accomplishments here in the city of Port Colborne, both at Lakeshore and Port Colborne High School. I see the Boisvenu family over there. Where's Riley tonight? He didn't bring the youngster? Oh yeah. Hockey or soccer or baseball? Which one is he at? Just hanging out? Well, thanks, guys. Waiting for the skateboard park, yeah. Well, thanks, guys. Great job, and we appreciate your attendance here this evening. Members of council, we're now going to move on to delegations. We have one delegation this evening. We have Ms. Claudia Brema and Colin Kruger of Lockview Park Secondary School Reunion Committee regarding the Lockview Park reunion activities and a request for proclamation, and that is in your package, page 23, members of council. That's going to be dealt with this evening. So with that, I'm going to call upon Claudia and Colin to come on up. You want to come up? Claudia, if anybody can get him up, come on. Claudia, welcome.
Oh, you.
He's coming up.
He said he wouldn't come up. Good evening, Mayor, Council, and ladies and gentlemen. You couldn't have set it up any better for us. We're here representing the Lockview reunion. So I'm going to take you back to 1969. I don't know if some of you aren't old enough probably to realize what was going on. But, and on a personal note, I lived 4 blocks from Port High, and because I was in a 5-year business program, I had to move over to for grade 12, I had to move over to Lockview and then come back to Port High for grade 13. We were upset. We thought, we can't possibly have to go across that bridge, right, to school. But you know what? It was the best year of our life. We had hand-picked teachers. We had the cream of the crop. It was a brand new school. We were really excited, and it was worth going to school from 12 till 5 in the afternoon till we could move in January. So as a result, I believe we were in operation for about 18 years, and in the wisdom of Niagara South Board of Education, there weren't enough students, so they amalgamated Lockview with Port High again, and of course now it's Lakeshore. So we are, I guess before we all die off, Colin suggested that we celebrate 25 years since the school closed. And this event is taking place on July 27th and July 28th. So we've been meeting for a year. A great group of alumni have been meeting at the core, and our fearless leader here has thought of everything. So we wonder if maybe the week building up to this big reunion, we've got people coming from all over North America home for the weekend, that maybe the city would get behind it and proclaim Welcome Home, Lockview Park Secondary School Lancers. It might have a little bit of economic spin-off to businesses in town, and we just would like a little bit of blessing.
Well, thank you, Claudia, and you'd be happy to know that this evening we do have a proclamation on the council portion of the agenda.
Thank you.
That does declare the week of July 22nd to July 28th, 2012 as Welcome Home Lockview Park Secondary School Lancers, Teachers, and Students Week here in the city of Colborne.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Coleman, aren't you going to say anything?
He's a man of action.
I'm not going to let you off. I'm not going to let you off the mic.
Come on, he's got to say something.
Say something.
I get emotional.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine. Take a breath.
He's leaving on a trip for out west tomorrow morning, so think about that mode.
Lockview is a special place. 18 years, I taught there all 18 years, and I thought it was very appropriate that we have a reunion for 25 years since its closing, and then the West Side Arena in 2019 for 50 years after its opening. And believe it or not, it was very appropriate tonight to have all these students here because it just brought back memories. And the request is that the City of Port Colborne recognizes the Lockview Week. We have had some requests to get picnic tables and fencing for the West Side Arena, the Friday nights at the Italian Hall. Gary Makins has worked very diligently with us to get all this in place. We've gone through all the fire prevention, the police, and the food, and I think the next step is to get the noise variance approved. And we certainly like to have the support and commitment from the City of Port Colborne to celebrate this.
Thank you, Colin. Thank you, Claudia. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time this
Thank you
evening.
for your time.
And I'm sure that thing will pass with flying colors.
Did you go to Lockview?
I didn't go to Lockview, no.
Mr. Danch went to Lockview. It was never the same after, right?
It's the same as council. Will never be the same. Thanks, guys. Members of council, now we're going to move on to the regional councilor is not here this evening, so if you have any regional council business or comments or questions, I'd be more than happy to deal with it this evening. With none, we'll move on to councilor's items or new business. Members of council, Councilor Bodnar.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Mr. Hanson. Oh, here he comes. Okay. We recently had Cedar Bay Road and Pinecrest Road paved, and while it looks very nice, it isn't very nice. It has a lot of bumps and it's not level. And a number of people that called me just wanted to know, do we know about it, and what are we going to do about it? So I'll ask if you have any suggestions.
Thank you, Councilor. Mr. Hanson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, staff is aware of it, Councilor Bodnar. 2 days after the paving was completed on Cedar Bay and Pinecrest, we had a meeting. We called a meeting immediately with the contractor, Rankin Construction. We had them review the situation. We're now preparing a response, a letter response, with our dissatisfaction with the results of that particular paving. And we're going to meet with them probably later this week to try to come to a resolve on it. So we are on it and we are dealing with it.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. That's fine. Any further new business, members? Councilor Kenny.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Mr. Aquilina, since he was so kind to answer an email of mine on the weekend. Councillor Dench and I had an incident with a taxpayer who was parked on the city, just in front on his house, but on the city road, with a for sale sign on a vehicle, properly licensed, valid license and everything. And he got tagged by the bylaw enforcement officer. And I wanted Mr. Aquilina to comment on why that would happen to a resident who had a car for sale, and even though it was parked on the street, it was a valid license. And we wanted, Councillor Dench and I wanted to have a resolution to that, in that a taxpayer or a resident of the City of Port Colborne is allowed to park a vehicle in front of their house that has a for sale sign on it. And that should not be an issue. And I wondered if Mr. Aquilina could comment, and I'd certainly be happy to hear from any of my fellow councillors on how they feel on that issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Aquilina.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Kenny. Councillor is correct. However, the city's bylaw that was passed in 2000 actually states that no vehicles can be offered for sale within the city's road allowances. However, as Mrs. Kenny has mentioned, I will be bringing forward a report to council that is going to do one of two things. Either recommend an amendment to the bylaw to allow a vehicle that is licensed, that it has the stickers and the valid information, that is not considered to be derelict, to be able to be sold on the city's road allowance. One vehicle per resident. So what we were going to do is either going to be an amendment to the bylaw, or we will imply a mechanism, a licensing permit system, that we have the information from the property owner as to what vehicle, the make, the model, the plate information, and we will hold on to that. That way our parking enforcement officers will not issue a ticket. To back up to the councillor's remark, we did not actually issue a ticket. We just gave a warning, a red tag warning, which then precipitated the emails, which eventually came to myself and now is here this evening. So we'll be instituting a system so your fellow resident, constituent, will be able to continually sell his vehicle on the city's road allowance, in short.
Thank you, Mr. Aquilina. That's fine. Okay.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just wanted to make sure that that was going to be allowed, because I don't think it's, I understand in the winter, that we don't allow, vehicles on there, but I think certainly during the fair weather season that a person has a vehicle parked on the street, that they should be allowed to put a for sale sign.
Thank you, Councillor. On that issue, Councillor Doucette?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Mr. Aquilina, you're going to, coming back with a report, is it necessary to have a report to make that change? I mean, if we have support about making the change now this evening, let's do it, let's get it done, and let's move on. Your time is very precious, and I consider that very precious, and I don't think we need to have a full report just to simply ask that happen. As for the reporting system, to turn around and to have to come in and tell someone, if the plate is there, what they have on their car, if it says for sale, I don't see a problem. It's a legal plate, that means that they can be there. Unless you can tell me otherwise, the only reason why the individual got a warning is because he had the sign for sale in his window. I have a problem with that. I mean, he legally can be there unless he has a for sale sign in his window. Just one vehicle, there shouldn't be a problem. There shouldn't be an issue. So.
Thank you, Councillor. Mr. Aquilina?
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Doucette. The problem we have right now is that your bylaw prohibits that. So the mechanism that I'm going to proceed with, you'll need to actually make an amendment to the bylaw, because in the future, it won't stop someone else from doing the exact same thing. So the fellow that raised the issue, we're not going to proceed on the basis, even though the bylaw says that, but I want to have a report brought forward to council to ensure that it does not happen again, and we actually make a change to the bylaw.
Great, thank you. Councillor Bodner?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think that should come back to us, because there's going to be a little publicity on this, and maybe someone will have another opinion and maybe request some change to the bylaw or something. But one thing I'd like to see in that is, in the new bylaw, is it going to be the registered owner has to live there to sell that? Because certainly we don't want curbsiders selling cars, one a week, and it's a perpetual car for sale on the front yard. So is that going to be controlled somehow when it does come back?
Mr. Aquilina?
Through Mr. Mayor to Councilor Bonner, that is my intention, to actually make it one vehicle per household. The issue with actually getting all the information, it's not going to stop someone from actually, if they're driving the vehicle, to be parked over on Fair Street if that individual actually lives on Clarence Street. So it's really the ownership information as to what that vehicle is, what the plate number is, and we can actually monitor where that property is and what that make and model is. So if it's anywhere in the city, it will not be issued a ticket as well. And once we actually get rolling on this, it'll be the same thing. We're just going to give people the red tag warning, but that's why I want to have the report back to council for the formal amendment to the bylaw itself.
Good, thank you, Mr. Aquilina. Councillor Kenny, that's fine? That's great. Okay. Further new business? Councillor Bonner, go ahead.
On that same issue, Mr. Mayor, there must have been a reason we enacted that bylaw in the first place. So can you include that in the, your report back to us?
Mr. Aquilina?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Mayor, to Councillor Bonner, my belief, and is what I mentioned to Councillor Kenny, a lot of it is due to safety issues. We have street sweeping. In the summer, we have plowing in the wintertime. And then you got to remember, if there's a vehicle on the city's road allowance, we want to have the traveling public continue. We don't want people congregating within the city's property to look at a vehicle. It's really something that should be done on private property. We can make an exception, but I believe that is why the bylaw is there in the first place.
Great, thank you, Mr. Aquilina. That's fine. Councillor Butters?
This is a new thing.
Right.
Okay. I had a very interesting conversation with a resident of the Lorraine Bay area, and we talked about the condition of the beach down at Lorraine Bay, and the algae is terrible, and it's terrible all along different points of Lake Erie. It certainly isn't just specific to Lorraine Bay. It's all along from Fort Erie to Wainfleet. You can just find all kinds of problems with algae. And part of our conversation went around the water quality issues, and I know you are very involved through the Great Lakes Mayor's Conference. I know you sent me some of the information from Minister Bradley and the Great Lakes protection legislation that he's putting forward or has put forward. But I think what her point was that she wants to make sure that we keep on pushing those things to improve the water quality of Lake Erie. And she's lived out in that area for, I think she said in around 28, 29 years. And so she's seen it when it's been better, and she's seen it worse. And anybody that's kind of lived in Port Colborne will remember days of when it was terrible. And then, you know, certain things were legislated and put into action, and things got better. And so her point, one of her points of view is that sometimes we have to just really push to make those changes, and if it takes legislation, then do it. And one of the things that she brought up was actually under the regional public health piece, and how years ago, and I remember that when they used to go around and check the ditches, the roadside ditches, for leaking septic from people's homes, and if they found it was, then they would further investigate, and if it was found coming from your system, you were required to fix it. And I don't know at what point they quit doing that, but it was a budget item. I have no doubt that they no longer, you know, went around and did it. So I think one of the things that is something that I would like to see some conversation at, certainly at the regional level, is why not have public health go back to some kind of system of checking for septic systems that leak. Okay. And I think that's like along with all the different pieces of the puzzle that need to happen, like what you do at that Great Lakes conference with the other mayors around the Great Lakes, what happens with Minister Bradley's legislation, all those different things. But like when we can do little bits and pieces here within our region, I think that counts as well. And I think her comments of continuing to push to improve the water quality that goes in for our lakes is something that we should always keep kind of in our minds to be working at. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor, and you're absolutely right. This is, although it seems like it may not be new, I think to some extent it is because of some of the challenges that we're running up against. You know, when you look at the condition of the Great Lakes, and it's not by no means is it just from Fort Erie to Wainfleet. It's from Fort Erie to Windsor. It's the entire north shore of Lake Erie and other Great Lakes as well, and the St. Lawrence rivers or river. But you know, it's forcing us to react. When you look at some of the phosphorus and some of the nutrients coming out of the drains, stormwater coming out of our own systems, and with that as well, the condition of what the zebra mussels and others that invasive species have created within the Great Lakes, especially allowing that sunlight to get to the bottom of the lakes and creating those algae blooms that we see across the entire system. It's forcing us to react in a manner that is new technology versus the traditional. But I think what's equally as important, if not more important, is to be proactive. And it's not going to happen overnight. It's probably not going to happen in our lifetime. But to be proactive to ensure that, as you said, a lot of those protocols are in place, whether it be through the M&R, whether it be through public health, with septic systems and things of that nature, so that therefore a lot of this nutrient and phosphorus that's getting into the system can at least be alleviated. But there's so much more to it. There's just so much more to it when we look at what's coming across the lake from the other side of the border. You know, so the key is for all of us to work together on both sides of the border and to ensure that we're not only being reactive to what we're dealing with today, but also to be proactive in terms of putting proper protocols and procedures in place that will alleviate the problem well in the future. So, but there's so much to it though. There's just so much science to it, and there's just so much to it that we're sort of delving into right now. Again, it's a task. There's no question. It's a big task. So with that, members, is there any further new business or councillors' items? With none, we'll now move on to the adoption of the minutes. We do have the minutes of the 15th meeting regular of Committee of the Whole, dated June 11th, 2012. Do I have a mover and seconder, please? Councillor Bodner, Councillor Danch. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Thank you, members. We'll now move on to the items considering separate discussion this evening. We'll start off with item 3. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. That the mayor and clerk are hereby authorized and directed to execute the agreement with the YMCA of Niagara for programming of the warm side of the Valet Health and Wellness Center in accordance with the terms and conditions as identified and recommended in Community and Corporate Services Community Service Report 2012-20 and as proposed by the YMCA of Niagara in its proposal submission.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. Or a seconder to that, please. Councillor Kenny. Now, before I go to questions or comments, I'm going to allow Mr. Makins to make a presentation. I think he has a few guests here that he would like to allow speak as well. So, Mr. Makins, welcome. The floor is all yours.
Thanks very much. Mr. Mayor, members of council, we're pleased to be here tonight with a proposed agreement for programming and services between the City of Port Colborne and the YMCA of Niagara. It's been over 1 year of hard work, lots of meetings and many late nights, whatever, to work on something that we're quite proud of. And we really believe that the health and wellness of the citizens of the City of Port Colborne are in great hands. We're really excited about this partnership. We really think it's going to make that building really breathe, and it's going to be a hopping place. So we're really, really excited about that. And we do have some guests here from the YMCA of Niagara. Just do a little bit of presentation tonight before we open up for comments and questions from council. So I'd like to introduce at this time Mr. Terry Seuss, a volunteer YMCA board member.
Terry, welcome.
Thank you. Mayor Badaway, members of council, staff, members of the public. As a Port Colborne resident and a volunteer YMCA board member, I'm pleased to be here tonight as our two organizations look to finalize the agreement that will establish a Port Colborne YMCA at the Valet Health and Wellness Center that will serve generations to come. We've accomplished much since I last presented to council back in February. That included many meetings and discussions with leaders, staff, members, consultants, along with the signing of our recent Memorandum of Understanding, culminating the crafting of a long-term agreement that will ultimately position the YMCA to strengthen the health and wellness of Port Colborne individuals and families. Tonight at City Council and tomorrow at the YMCA of Niagara's board meeting, our leaders will be taking a significant step towards solidifying the basis of this great partnership. Jason Brown, the CEO of the YMCA, will now share his thoughts with you, followed by Morgan Cooper and her family. Morgan is another proud Port Colborne resident with a strong YMCA connection.
Thank you, Terry. Jason, welcome. It's great to have you out again.
Thank you, Worship. A pleasure to be here. This agreement and the principles behind the agreement will provide the basis of why and how we as a local charity work together with you to strengthen the foundations of this community. The key elements that are significant in this agreement are that it's long-term, a 20-year renewable agreement. It's sustainable with a solid financial plan. It's quality, and speaks to quality, program, facility, and equipment quality. The membership model of service offers choice and a broad range of activities for the residents of Port Colborne and beyond. It's research-based. Our market research showed that we can expect to ramp up to something like 2,800 members participating at this facility, and it's open to all through the YMCA's Financial Assistance Program. I'd like to acknowledge the leadership of Gary Mawkins and Peter Sensi, along with the city's team of staff leaders and consultants who have been integral in the development of this agreement. I want to recognize our YMCA staff, Janet St. Amman, Joe McLaughlin, Brian Bratt, and Denise Yorf as well, who have put tremendous effort into this agreement. This partnership will enable us to reach out to more people and families and contribute to the health and well-being of families like the Coopers. So I'd now like to invite Morgan Cooper to come up and say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Morgan, welcome.
Thank you. There's no graceful way to get around on these things, unfortunately. Whoop. There we go. My husband and son are waving back there. He's being amused by his father as to not interrupt. Good evening, everybody. I am grateful to have the opportunity to say thank you to the Port Colborne Council for having the vision to build a community center for families like ours. But more importantly, to thank you for taking the bold step for creating a platform to build a lasting partnership with the YMCA of Niagara. My husband and I are proud to have made Port Colborne our home, and we are thrilled that you will be entering the home stretch of creating a new agreement that will see the YMCA become a part of our community, strengthening its fabric for generations to come. As you know, my name is Morgan Cooper, and the YMCA has been a part of my life over the years, not only as a member, but also as a part-time staff member. As a student who had just returned from Brazil, where I was studying and assisting underprivileged people, I knew that I wanted to make a difference in my community at home. A family friend introduced me to the YMCA in Windsor. It was there that I began instructing young people in various sports. Later, I participated in a YMCA community program that assisted Lebanese refugee children integrate into the new Canadian schools. These experiences taught me two specific things. One is that I love being in a position to make a difference in the lives of others, and second, that the YMCA serves the community as a whole and in that making it stronger. Today, my most important role, and this is where we get emotional, is that of being a parent. One moment. We have a 1-year-old son, Logan. He's back there laughing. He has been diagnosed with Down syndrome. That's not why I'm crying. It was upon learning of this diagnosis, thank you, that we began planning how we could maximize Logan's quality of life while ensuring that he would become a positive contributor of our community. Our first conclusion was that we wanted the YMCA to be a focal point in reaching that goal. We are currently attending the Niagara Center of the YMCA in Welland, where Logan happily plays in the Play Center while we spend valuable time building relationships in our new community and keeping healthy. As a parent, I take enormous comfort knowing that the YMCA will be here to add to Logan's independence and socialization while he grows into a little boy and then into a young man. These are some of the things that our family is looking forward to. I know I can depend on the YMCA's quality of services, friendly staff, and relevant programs when the doors of the YMCA open in Port Colborne next year. I am not only excited for our family, but for all of our neighbors and friends. Thank you very much.
Well done, Morgan. Well stated.
Thank you, Morgan. Council, this is a momentous occasion for both the City of Port Colborne and the YMCA. Together, we're able to do more than each of us could do on our own. Together, we will have significant impact on the health and well-being of children, youth, families, people of all ages, all abilities, all income levels for generations to come. Together, we can leverage each other's talents and experience to provide the best valet health and wellness center experience for Port Colborne residents. Together, we are innovators of strengthening communities. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Terry. Members of council, any questions of the presenters? Or Mr. Makins? Councillor Doucette?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Mr. Makins, let's start with that. I was looking at Schedule F, which is essentially the schedule that indicates when the city is going to use it, and it's going to impede a little bit on the Y, and where the Y is going to do the same thing and impede on some of what the city is doing. Reason I'm looking at it is I don't see the December 31st celebration there that we have for the children usually in our arenas, and we were hoping when we built this to extend it to all the facility. it's not here. So does that mean that it's not something does it mean that we're going to not do it anymore? Or because there's a lot of children out there that love that particular evening. So I just looking at it, I want to know why it's not there.
Thank you, Councilor, and I do have to comment on that. And something for information for the gallery as well as those watching on COGECO. Every New Year's Eve, we do have a celebration over at the West Side Arena in the past to welcome all the kids. We have the mad scientists out and a lot of activities happening throughout the corridors and upstairs. The intent, and Councilor Doucette rightly states that the intent is to open up the facility during New Year's Eve to not only include the arenas, but also the pools and the gymnasium, and having a whole slew of different activities happening, especially for the families and the youngsters that will come out and celebrate New Year's Eve, as otherwise they would do elsewhere. But to have it in this facility is going to be something extra special. So what's the plan, Gary, with respect to having that available to us on that particular day?
Yes, certainly, Mr. Mayor, through you to Councilor Doucette. These were just some of the activities. Doesn't mean that they are all listed here, and that is one activity that we did not list, and we should have had it listed here, that we definitely do want to continue with the New Year's Eve celebration. It's important to the Y also to have that. It brings new people into the building too, and it gives them an opportunity to see those types of things. And it is more than just the Y too. There'll be activities on the ice and in all those places. So we've listed the ones that we know of, but there'll certainly be other things that may come up in the future too, that we just don't, just because it's not listed here doesn't mean it can't happen. Certainly the Joint Operating Committee will be that group that works together to plan on how we use those other events or whatever. We do want to try and keep, maximize the use of the facility for the members, but we also understand that there are times when the Y needs us too. And we just talked today, I had a call about a literacy event that they want to look at in February. So those are the types of things that anytime it supports the city of Port Colborne, we want to make sure that it can happen at that building. So just because it's not specifically listed here doesn't mean it cannot happen. It still will happen, yes.
Well, possibly the YMCA can also sponsor the fireworks show.
I like it.
That one caught you, didn't it, Jason? Councilor Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. It's great to see this agreement come forward. I'm especially pleased that it's the Y. I think we all agree that they are the ones that we really need to come on board. What I'm really happy to see is that the agreement contains provisions for the people from the Centennial Pool to have the opportunity to take advantage of what the Y is going to be. So that's great. It's nice to see them working with the city of Port Colborne to at least blend in everybody together and to fully use the facility. I just had a couple of quick questions on some of the things that are in the agreement, and by no means are they against the agreement. Just for clarification for myself, so I read them. It says that we're going to use the total of the 2011 net expenditures from the Centennial Pool operations as our contribution for the what are we titling? We're calling it the service agreement. How did we come to use 2011 as the baseline for our contribution to the Y?
Mr. Howe?
Just working with Peter through finance or whatever, it's just that's the last year that we have our full numbers for. So that kind of sets that base, and that was, and everybody's been talking about it. It's about that $300,000 mark, which is consistent to 2010 and 2011. So that's what we're looking at.
And we're looking at 300,000, 5 and 5.
Yes.
5 by the way?
Right.
Right. Okay. Councilor?
Thanks, Gary. Could just address questions to Gary, I guess would be the easiest way.
Mm-hmm.
On page 5 of the, or actually on 57, it's item number, duties of the city, number 5. F, it says, should the city specifically request the YMCA to offer programs or services for which revenue could not cover expenses, and assuming no negligence by the Y, what programs would they be, or would they include?
Gary?
Any idea?
Yes, certainly through Mr. Mayor. That may include something, if we wanted to run a free park program or something for children, so there is no revenue coming in, but there's an expense to the Y because they'd have to staff it, that type of stuff. So if it's a program that, your revenues are less than your expenditures, and it's something that we ask for, that's where that would come in.
Page 59, it says variance for funding And in C2, it says the YMCA will pay any operating deficits incurred beyond the amounts the city has agreed to pay under paragraph 6B5 above. And 6B5 in the above says council retains the right to approve on an annual basis the amount it will contribute to the operating service fund under this agreement, and that's the 5% either way. Is the 5% either way included in the operating deficit? Are we going to add 5 and take 5% off, and then the Y will say that they've operated in a deficit?
Mr. Mickens?
Yeah, that's correct. We're looking at, they can go up to a maximum of 5% over that budgeted amount. And again, though, it's council's exclusive right or whatever, whether they're going to pay that extra 5% or not. And yeah, so it's that 5% over or under.
I just got two more questions, Gary.
No problem.
Maybe the Y could help us out on this one. On their, the chart on page 81, it's the YMCA 5-year financial plan. Under deferred capital depreciation, in the first year, the depreciation is $5,000, and then in year 2 it jumps to $216,000, and then it declines 186, 160, and 148. Could you explain to me how those numbers came to be? As in, they're only going to depreciate capital at $5,000 the first year, and then jump to $216,000 the second year.
Jason?
Through you, Your Worship, the answer to that is because it's a multi-year agreement, and because we have significant investment up front, and because there's a cap on the city's contribution to the YMCA to cover the deficit, we're actually using a formula that defers our depreciation over a period of time that's different than we actually have to depreciate our assets. So in the first year, the depreciation that we'll claim to the city is less than the actual depreciation, and we'll recover it in future years.
And one last question, and Jason, while you're there, you might as well stay there, because you could probably answer this better than Gary. With regards to the cleaning agreement, the cost schedule for 13 is $5.16 per square foot. How do you derive the $5.16 per square foot rate?
That's based on our own facilities and the cost of cleaning those facilities by square foot. I believe we also looked at some other YMCA's and other municipal operations as well to come up with what we believe is the most sensible figure to use.
Thank you, Councillor Elliott. Any further questions or comments to the report? Councillor Steele.
Thank you, Your Worship. Through you to Gary. Gary, with regards to the outside activities that we discussed in earlier through the council here, and asked you to speak with the Y with regards to this agreement, like water polo league and minor basketball coming in and using the gymnasium for events that they may want to run. How has that worked into this?
Mr. Makins?
Certainly through you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Steele. We have spoken to the groups that are currently using our pool now, which are the Special Olympics Swim Club, Piranha Swim Team, the water polo team, whatever. So we're looking at integrating them into our program so that they'll be able to stay kind of at the same time, same price and that type of stuff. So that will work out fine. The Basketball Association, we had one meeting with them, and they'd like to get some activity in there. They're not looking to be in there all the time. They understand that they have some pretty good pricing now at the place they're at, and it looks like it's going to stay that way for a while. So they do want to look at a little bit of a home, someplace to put their banners up and that type of stuff, because they don't have anything right now. So we want to try and integrate them best we can. We will have a joint operating committee established, which will be made up of members of both the Y and the City of Port Colborne. And that's ones that there's an outside third-party person wants to look at using our facility. If we can't get them in, into the program, we'll go to that operating committee and they'll take a look at how do we get them to fit in, what the price, all those types of things. And again, that'll also be like a resolution or dispute committee. So if somebody has a concern or whatever, they can bring it to that committee. So that's how we're going to operate on that.
Good. Through your worship, Gary, thank you very much. Why, thank you, because that was a concern with this council and through our Health and Wellness Committee, and I'm glad you guys have resolved that and keep the current groups going, but also look for new groups to come in and enhance this facility. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Steele. Are there any further questions or comments? Before we ask for the vote, I do want to congratulate both members of staff. of the city, as well as staff from the Y, and even the board members who I've talked to Patrick on occasion, and Debbie to Patrick Robson and Debbie Zimmerman on occasion, and I know they were involved very much in the process as well as staff and some of the users that have come out and sent us emails and phone calls, and obviously come out to the council meeting as well. To all of you, to really make this happen. You guys really put the nose to the grindstone, and really, I know it was tough, especially when you have a tradition that's been here in two arenas going back to 1959, and a pool that goes back to our centennial year. So it's 1967, yes. So by all means, a tough task, but it just goes to prove the organization, how valuable the organization is, and what you bring to the table. And Gary, to you and your team, job well done. So congratulations, well done. I shouldn't say congratulations yet until I take the vote, right? Yeah. But with that, members, no further questions or comments to the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried unanimously. And now I can say congratulations, guys. Well done. We'll now move on to item 13. Councillor Kenny.
Thank you, Your Worship. That the Council of the City of Port Colborne award tender 2012-12 citywide line painting to Provincial Maintenance of Niagara Falls, Ontario, for the total tendered price of $33,805.55 for 2012, $35,157 for 2013, and $36,564.02 for 2014, plus applicable taxes pending final budget approvals by council for each of those years. That funding for the project 2012 be financed under account number 0500-74210-3328, and C, that the contract bylaw whereby the city enters into a contract agreement with the contractor be prepared upon final budget approval.
Thank you, Councillor Kenny. Do I have a seconder to that, please? Councillor Elliott. Questions or comments? Councillor Kenny.
Thank you once again, Your Worship, through you to Mr. Hanson. Ron, this will bring us, with this amount, about almost $4,000 more than we had budgeted for, and you said that that would be added, or that would start our year off in that minus deficit situation. In 2011, what did we budget for? Do you know what we budgeted for line painting in 2011?
Mr. Hanson.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. We've budgeted $30,000 for the past number of years. The contract amount, which was done on an annual basis in the past, it's a 3-year contract. We've budgeted $30,000 for the past few years, and it's stayed fairly static during that period. There's been some changes in the specifications through the MTO painting specifications, and it's actually the chemical composition of this paint has changed such that some of the prices are going up. So we budgeted $30,000 in the past. That's covered it. This is a change to it, so we have to make allowances for that in the next 3 years.
Councillor.
Thank you. So I guess what you're kind of saying is that the quality of paint that we used to use now, because of environmental issues, correct? That type of paint can't be used as normally, well, it can't be used anymore, so therefore the lines are fading quicker because of that, and that's why they have to be repainted. Is that what it is?
Mr. Hanson.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. No, that's not exactly true. The chemical composition of the paint has changed. Specifications have changed for this coming year. The fading of the paint has been a problem for the past number of years. Right. I know from experience some of the other municipalities are actually painting twice a year because of this problem. So we're hoping that we'd like to make the paint more durable. We're hoping that some of the painting we've done, we'd be able to make the painting last longer, and it has. But there's a green initiative behind this as well, an environmental initiative that we have to follow. So I can't say that this paint's going to be more durable, but it's something we're going to try because of the new chemical composition. We're hoping it's going to stand up better than some of the previous years that we've experienced.
Okay, so I guess, yes, thank you, Your Worship. So I guess then what you're probably trying to tell all of us, that when it comes budget time, we're really not budgeting enough, because we got to make up, now you got to make up this $4,000 somehow. You said you got to add it to, and so even with adding the amount that they're saying in their proposal to us, we'll still have to make up someplace that $4,000. Is
Through you,
that
Mr.
correct?
Mayor, there's a couple different ways we can do it. We're suggesting here that the expenditure be made. It can be an unfunded expenditure going to 2013. We could take that amount plus the increase for 2013 and include that in the 2013
Okay.
budget.
All right.
The other way, I mean, we try not to move funds from one account to another. Obviously, we want to see what the actual costs are.
Mhm.
But at the end of the year, I know Mr. Sinnes has ways that, you know, if there's roads money through the various sub-accounts, if there's money available, this is a very small amount. So
Okay.
what we can do perhaps is just go back to council at the end of the year and say, well, there's some surplus in this account. Would it be all right to move it into there and then not go into the 2013 budget year with any sort of a deficit? So we can certainly look at that at the end of the year.
Okay, great. Thanks very much. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor. Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Councillor Bodnar and Councillor Elliott.
Mr. Mayor, through you to Mr. Hanson, have we started painting lines this year already?
Mr. Hanson.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, no, it'll be on the award of this contract that the line painting will start.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion then, when this is passed and the next one comes up, can we renew before so we can get painting earlier in the year? I just, you know, I know there's a lot of lines out there that are pretty much disappeared. I just wondered whether instead of this lag time, we're at the end of June, how early in the year could we start painting?
Mr. Hanson.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, traditionally we tendered this when we did the annual tendering. We did it in March to try to get the contractor lined up for early May.
Right.
That was a more typical time. This is definitely late this year. It's later than historically than we've had in the past. Some of this is attributed to some of the workload within the department. We just didn't get it out as quickly as usual. But with the multi-year contract available, we can have this contractor, once this is awarded, the minute the conditions are right on the road in the spring, we can have the contractor start painting as soon as available. So 2013, 2014 will be a much earlier paint time.
So then in 2014, we could negotiate for 2015 and get at it early in 2015?
It's always possible, through you, Mr. Mayor, it's always possible to extend existing contracts through negotiation, come back to council and ask if it's appropriate to extend the contract. That certainly can be done, but we've been to a new term of council, so it'll be at council's discretion whether they want to re-tender for another multi-year or can entertain an extension to the existing contract.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Through you to Ron. Are you concerned because we only got one bid, or is there just not a lot of line painters out there that want to come down? I mean, for a 3-year contract, you would think it would have drawn some attention to put a bid in, but we only got one. I'm just wondering if the lack of competition is raising the price a little.
Mr. Hanson.
To you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Elliott is correct. There isn't a lot of these contractors around. We had 2 sets of documents go out this year, only one returned. And our history on this particular contract has shown there's very little interest in it in this particular area. I think maybe the GTA area, there may be some more contractors, but it's really specialized equipment. This big piece of equipment that does the center line painting is very specialized. There's not a lot of them around. This particular contractor from Niagara Falls does an excellent job. He does a lot of the MTO work, and he always sets aside some time in May and June for Port Colborne to do this contract when he's available. So we have a good history with him.
Thank you. That's fine, Councillor. Yeah. Any further questions or comments, members? All those in favor? Opposed? That would be, let's try that again. All those in favor? Opposed? That'd be carried. Thank you. That will do it for the items for separate discussion this evening, members. We'll now move on to notices of motion. Are there any notices of motion? With none, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Councillor Danch, seconded by Councillor Doucette. Before I take the vote, I have to pass this on. I'd be remiss if I didn't. I just received an email from Mr. O'Reilly from Centennial Park Beach area, and I have to pass it on to staff because it's complimenting the work that staff did at Centennial Beach, and I'll quote it. Good morning. He must have sent it this morning. I don't know why we're getting it now, but he says, "Good morning, Mayor Badaway and Barb. I am sending you photos we took this past weekend of the public beach at Cedar Bay. Your team did a fantastic job cleaning the beach. It looks beautiful. Thank you so much for making it happen. Kindly regarded, Mr. Mairead." Thank you, Barbara. Mairead O'Reilly, and they got some pictures of the beach, and I can see the pictures of the beach. And Ron, to your team, if you can pass it on, great job, great work. And Gary, to your team as well. One wonderful job, guys. Great job. I know how much work it took because I've seen pictures of it before the fact. So, and looking at it now, good job. Well done. So with that, members, all those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Thank you. We'll now move on to our council agenda. Madam Clerk, are there any addendum items this evening?
Thank you. There are none this evening.
We'll get to that in a second. Okay. None this evening. We'll now move on to motion to confirm the agenda, please. Councillor Steele, Councillor Kenny, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Disclosures of interest. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a pecuniary interest in camera item number E, letter E.
Thank you, Councillor. Any further disclosures, members? I as well had a disclosure during the closed session item with CAO report. Where is it here? It was a memo concerning Nion Fueling, Inc., and that was pursuant to Municipal Act 2001, subsection 2392C, because of my business and the potential that customers of mine may in fact utilize that particular service if in fact it moves forward. So with that, are there any further disclosures, members? We'll now move on to the adoption of the minutes. We have the minutes of the 20th meeting regular of council dated June 11th, 2012, and we have the minutes of the 21st meeting special of council dated June 12th, 2012. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Kenny, Councillor Steele, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Mr. Howe, you had a comment?
Just June 13th.
Oh, that's the 12th? I'm sorry, it's June 13th. I'm surprised the clerk didn't kick me.
Me too.
Members of council, are there any items that require a separate discussion this evening? We'll move right to the items that in block. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Danch, Councillor Doucette, are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. We do have one proclamation that I see some of the individuals stayed and waited very patiently for. I can't find it. Where is it? I'm just kidding, guys. Thanks, guys, for sticking around. I appreciate it. I do have a proclamation. I will be looking for a mover and seconder for this, members of council, that whereas Lockview Park Secondary School closed in June 1987, and whereas June 2012 will mark 25 years since that closure, and whereas in celebration of the 25th anniversary, a reunion event will be held on July 27th and 28th, 2012, to welcome back and reunite all former alumni of Lockview Park Secondary School. Now, therefore, in recognition of an excellent center of learning and in keeping the tradition of coming home, I, Mayor Vansam Badaway, proclaim the week of July 22nd to July 28, 2012 as Welcome Home Lockview Park Secondary School Lancers, Teachers, and Students Week here in the city of Port Colborne. Okay, so I have to find out here. Who was a Lancer?
I was in the smoking area.
So we have Frank. No one else is a Lancer here, so we'll have to look at Frank to move this motion.
Absolutely.
Okay. Do I have a seconder?
From a Blue Bear.
You're from a Blue Bear?
They all had to end up at Port High somehow.
Mr. Kruger, you can deal with them after the meeting. Seconded by Councillor Steele. Are there any questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried unanimously. And once again, I thank you for your patience. And we wish you all the best through the week. And be careful and behave. You notice I'm looking at you, eh, Smoke? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Thanks, members of council. We'll now move on to the minutes of boards, commissions, and committees. We have 4 sets of minutes, and I'll do them in block if you don't mind, members. We have the minutes of the May 29th, 2012 Notice to Muzzle Appeal hearing. We have the draft minutes of the Accessibility Advisory Committee meeting of June 5th, 2012. And we have the minutes of the Port Colborne Gateway Business Improvement Area Board of Management meeting of 2012. And the minutes of the Long-Term Master Plan City Fire Chief meeting of April 4th, 2012. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Elliott, Councillor Kenny, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Are there any notices of motion? Madam Clerk, the introduction of the bylaws, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, that the following bylaws be read a first, second, third time and finally passed. Bylaw 58207412, being a bylaw to temporarily close sections of specified streets to vehicular traffic for the purposes of the 2012 Canal Days Festival. Bylaw 58217512, being a bylaw to authorize entering into an agreement between the City of Port Colborne and the YMCA of Niagara for programming of the warm side of the Valley Health and Wellness Center. Bylaw 58227612, being a bylaw to designate the urban area of the City of Port Colborne as an industrial community improvement plan project area. Bylaw 58237712, being a bylaw to adopt an industrial community improvement plan for the urban area of the City of Port Colborne. Bylaw 58247812, being a bylaw to amend bylaw 431014602, being a bylaw prescribing on and off-street parking for persons with disabilities within the City of Port Colborne. Bylaw 58257912, being a bylaw to authorize entering into a contract agreement with provincial maintenance regarding tender 2012-12, citywide line painting. And finally, bylaw 58268012, being a bylaw to temporarily close Princess Street to vehicular traffic for purposes of the Port Colborne Historical and Marine Museum's 2012 Canal Days Festival.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Doucette, Councillor Butters, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. Madam Clerk, the confirmatory bylaw, please.
The following bylaw be read first, second, third time and finally passed. Bylaw 58278112, being a bylaw to adopt, ratify, and confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the City of Port Colborne at its special and regular meetings of Council June 25, 2012.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mover and seconder, please. Councillor Steele, Councillor Kenny, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That will be carried. And before I ask for a motion to adjourn, we have a big event coming up this weekend. I'm going to ask Mr. Makins to highlight here in the City of Port Colborne. Mr. Makins.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to remind members of council that this weekend coming up, June 29th, 30th, and July 1st, is the Flavors of Niagara at H.H. Knoll Park. We are still looking for some volunteers, so if you're going to be around this weekend and you'd like to help out, certainly give Michelle at my office a call, and we'll get you all trained up and ready to go. But we're looking forward to having a real good time, and it was a great time last year, and we expect it'll be a great time again this year. So
Now, Gary, I hear there's some more variety of some exotic foods this year. Is that true? And of course, the great Niagara wines.
Yeah, absolutely. And this year, also on the Friday night, this is going to be a twist. We're going to try, there's going to be country music act on Friday night. We've never had country music at Flavors of Niagara, so we're going to try that on the River Junction Band is playing on Friday night. And we do have on Sunday the Tide and Vine Oyster Company. So there'll be a shuck truck for oysters on Sunday. So if you like to, if you're adventurous, you can
We'll all
give
be
it a
there
try.
on Sunday.
So I hope to see everybody out on the weekend. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Gary. But yeah, if you look at the menu, guys, I tell you, a lot of great foods here, a lot of Niagara wines here, truly representing the flavors of Niagara. What a great time, and of course at the marina too. Pardon me? But I got some here, guys. But as well, with Don Cherry's just opening up down at the marina. By the way, I hear it's been a full house ever since they have opened up. It's been tough getting in there. And with Border Pass wakeboarding over at the marina, I hear they just can't keep up. I mean, I'm hearing they're even thinking about putting a second one out.
Yeah.
So,
along that
great
line,
news.
there will be an invite coming out, but they're looking at probably a grand opening ribbon cutting on Friday at 2 o'clock. So bring your bathing suits, and we're going to cheer Bill on.
Gary? You too, Gary. Billy?
I was there the other day. I was paying for my dock because I was putting my boat in. And I ran into the gang. They were out there, and one kid just came off it. And I said, okay, guys, because my fellow counselors, especially the counselors to my right, and Angie, who's missing this evening, I promised them that I would do it. I said, I'll bring my own wakeboard, and I'm looking forward to it.
I'll bring the camera.
You know, so you can bring the camera, but my little nephew, who's 7, did it on Saturday. He won a free pass at some event he was at, and he was up the first time, so it looked pretty cool. So I can't wait to do it, because if I do it, you know what the next step is, gang. Most of you have to do it.
So let's ensure during the actual opening we have EMS there handy. So when Billy is, we have to scoop him out of the water. We know.
If you're in the water, it's Pokemon.
Yes. So for those on COGECO, just to give you some idea what's happening over the weekend, we have again Flavors of Niagara, a whole menu of different foods, all kind of exotic foods. Again, a whole menu of different wines throughout Niagara, really representing the flavors of Niagara. On Friday night, as mentioned by Gary, we have the River Junction Band that's going to be playing. On Saturday, a local favorite, we have the More Bad News and Horns from Hell playing. Usually packs the park, the performers as well. And I see Willie James is going to be in town. The Willie James Blues Band as well is going to be in town on Saturday. On Sunday, once again, a fan favorite, Steve Burnside and the Marquee Band will be here. Silverback and Jonesy. So by all means, come on out and really enjoy Niagara South Coast, the shores of Lake Erie, our marina, over at H.H. Noel Park with some great food, some great wine, some great people, and some great activities for all ages. So come on down to Niagara South Coast over the weekend. And of course, I'd be remiss too as well, I can't be greedy here with the camera, I have to also invite those folks not only to this part of Niagara South Coast, but over to the east in the town of Fort Erie. They'll be celebrating their Friendship Festival, and by all means, make it down there, of course, after you come here, and enjoy all that the town of Fort Erie has to offer as well. So with that, members of council, I will ask for a motion to adjourn. We have, oh yes, we have I can't forget that, we have the Niagara Antique Power Show over on Wilhelm Road at the farm, Niagara Antique Power Show. By all means, for all you folks that are interested in the history, especially for those that have never been there before, very important. Bring the kids out. The kids just absolutely love it. But come on down all weekend.
It's their 40th.
40th anniversary. Yeah, yeah. So come on down. They'll really enjoy seeing you there. Councillor Elliott.
Fireworks, yes or no?
Yes.
Where?
Gary, let's mention that, please.
There will be fireworks on West Street.
Over
Okay,
the
so
canal.
you will be able to see them from the H.H. Noel Park, but they are on the canal at approximately 10 o'clock.
Yeah, so just a little
Sunday
walk
night.
down Sugarloaf, guys, down to the canal.
Yeah.
And check out the fireworks. Again, another spectacular fireworks display by Red Boss over the Welland Canal. So thanks for bringing that up, Dave. That was very helpful. So with that, a motion to adjourn? Councillor Steele, Councillor Butters, questions or comments? All those in favor? Opposed? That would be carried. Have a wonderful week. I adjourn.